miscellaneous stuff. Uh, somebody noticed when I think I said that I'd never been on a train before in a previous video. Somebody caught wind of that and it just like shocked the mess out of him. And I just want to say, yeah, I don't travel too much. I mean, from where I live at, and I won't disclose where I live at because I don't trust anybody. DTA, Stone Cold Steve Austin. But what? So yeah, I've never been on a train. I just don't travel that often. That's all. I mean, I forgot the last time I've really been out of state. But anyway, Newark Bay train disaster 61 years later. Well, we could always say like 63 because this is 2019. All right, one like. All I ask. So without further ado, here we go. I'm hearing water and a bell. Lighthouse.
What you are looking at are the remains of the former Newark Bay Bridge in New Jersey. The
What bridge?
Pillars sticking out of the bay were once support beams to the lifting drawbridge that carried the Central Railroad of New Jersey main line connecting Elizabethport and Bayonne from 1926 to the 1980s.
It's been like 60 plus years and they haven't really gotten rid of the rest of that support. Come on, unless you're making a new bridge to take its place, that doesn't make sense.
On September 15th, 1958, Jersey Central morning commuter train number 3314 was running from Bay Head, New Jersey to Jersey City. It departed Elizabeth Station at 9:57 a.m.
Queen Elizabeth? Emily Elizabeth? Elizabeth.
GP7s,
What's the girl name from Pirates?
1526.
Elizabeth Swan or something? Elizabeth Turner. Let's say Elizabeth Turner.
The second engine was deadheading back
I haven't
to
watched
Jersey
Pirates of the
City
Caribbean in a
after
while.
use over the past weekend for a special run. 100 passengers were on board the
I
train.
swear, I think I'm looking at the same head of a person.
The train is crewed by 63-year-old engineer Lloyd Wilburn and 42-year-old fireman Peter Andrew. While GPs
Numbers by age.
are not steam-powered, obviously, firemen in the early diesel age were kind of like an assistant engineer or an engineer trainee that could sometimes operate the engine under supervision of the engineer or monitor the controls.
This is like the inside of a school bus. An old school bus.
At 10:01 a.m., train 3314
Put my lip on the mic.
approaches the Newark Bay Bridge, which was lifted minutes prior.
This doesn't
to
even
let a
seem like your
sand barge
regular
pass.
bridge.
The engineer should be slowing his train down to a stop before being allowed to proceed to the bridge. However, the train keeps on going.
Keep on going until it hits that red spot. Oh, it just phases through. Now that's it on fire, and that's pretty much what you got. Oh, and it tears apart too. Let's see. Any second now.
The train's 2 locomotives and 2 coaches plunged.
Thought I was about to watch the
at
Hindenburg.
60 miles an hour. One coach is dangling from the bridge,
Hey,
half
hey.
submerged, while the rest of the train
Joyce
remains on the
Center.
bridge. At least 48 people die in the wreck, including both crewmen, former New York Yankees second baseman George Snuffy Sternweiss, James Carmel Adams, the brother-in-law of author
There's
Kurt
a baseball player?
Vonnegut, and then Shrewsbury Mayor John Hopkins. 48 more
mayor?
people were injured, including several people miraculously escaping death either by sitting in the rear coaches or in some cases having to bash windows open in order to free themselves to the surface in the coaches that sunk.
Wait. Dangling coach later slid into the bay after the last victim was arrested. See, that's one of the benefits of being like on the back seat of a vehicle. Because you're like the last person that can really suffer if you're stuck. Well, that's not a benefit, but you got more of a chance to escape.
But how could such an accident like this happen?
That's the $1 million question!
100% preventable?
I'll tell you what's not preventable. Ads. Jesus.
I used to feel so much peace staring into the heavens.
Good for you. I don't care. Moving on.
Interstate Commerce Commission, or ICC, the New Jersey Public Utilities Commission,
ICC.
and the United
Water.
States Army Corps of Engineers each conducted separate inquiries into the wreck. On the Newark Bridge, there were 3 signals spaced at various spots. The first was 3/4 of a mile from the bridge, the next was a 1/4 mile away, and the last one was only 500 feet from the bridge. Additionally, there was a D-rail 50 feet beyond the 3rd signal. The bridge span had to be down and locked electrically before the signals and D-rail could be lifted for trains to proceed. Conversely, all the devices had to be in their most restricted positions before the bridge could be unlocked and raised. The train ran through 2 signals and was derailed automatically. The automatic derail was designed to knock the wheels off the track so that the resistance of the ties and ballast against the wheels would bring the train to a stop.
I'm not going to remember any of this. I will be honest with you.
However, train 3314, although it did derail, was moving at such a high speed that it did not have sufficient distance to stop before diving off the bridge.
Whee!
If the train was traveling at a slower speed, like 25 to 30 miles an hour,
It'd be as slow as this grass.
would have been able to do its
Just
job
dead
and stop the
grass.
The 3 inquiries all found that the absence of a dead man switch was one of the primary causes.
Dead man switch?
The dead man switch is basically a pedal on the floor of the locomotive that the engineer must keep depressed during operation, and if it's let go, a warning goes off, and if nothing happens, the train goes into an emergency stop after 10 seconds.
Let that thing go, and it's got its own. So you let this thing go, and it automatically goes into an emergency brake.
Already were equipped with such devices, but this did not include GP 91532.
That sounds like a lot of flaws right there.
CNJ train 3314 on the day of the wreck. The railroad
So
claimed
many
that
numbers,
such a device
baby.
was not always necessary because all their trains had 2 crewmen in the cab. If the engineer was incapacitated somehow, the fireman would assume control of the locomotive. An autopsy found that engineer Lloyd Wilburn had indications of hypertensive heart disease, but that he had died of
You think these guys know
asphyxiation
Popeye?
due to drowning.
I bet some of these guys know Popeye.
Heart attack.
I mean, look at the hats and the 2 guys in the
no
middle.
reason could be found to explain why the fireman Peter Andrew could not
They're clearly sailors.
or did not stop the train. Investigators raised the wreckage and did not find any defect in the brakes on the locomotive and the coaches. It was also determined that the signal system and derailing device on the bridge worked as intended. Lacking more definitive evidence, it was presumed that the engineer had worked as intended. Lacking more definitive evidence, it was presumed that the
I can't even say it. Definitive evidence.
engineer had somehow been incapacitated in the cab, and the
I can't
fireman
even
failed
speak.
to take appropriate action to stop the train. But however, to this day, no one really knows what went on in the cab of train 3314.
Or that bus
While
right
the
there.
ICC only recommended the installation of these devices, the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities directed that the railroad should install them in all of their locomotives. However, in recent years, it's been found the dead man's pedal has been enough to prevent disaster, as crews found the pedal rather annoying and could cancel it out by placing a heavy object like a worn-out brake shoe onto the pedal. That caused disasters like the Hinton train collision, due to the engineer likely being incapacitated.
Look at all that
and
sand.
the brakeman falling asleep, while the dead man's switch was likely canceled out by having a brake shoe on the
No, that's powdered sugar.
Accidents like this resulted in the formation of systems such as
Oh,
positive train
Canada.
control and reset safety control that could stop an engineer if he runs a red signal, goes too fast, among other violations that could cause an accident. In the end, Jersey Central became under heavy fire, receiving a number of legal actions brought against them.
I didn't see them light up the place. I mean, they got a lot of coal to set up a heavy fire, but
1526 were raised, rebuilt by EMD.
that train on the right is like, ah!
1532 kept its original number, while the 1526 was renumbered into 1531.
More numbers!
The earliest freight locomotives, although the 1532 was photographed to be in passenger service after its return.
Sir, put a shirt on. You have a beer belly.
Both later went on to serve as Conrail 5678 and
5678.
The Newark
5678.
last used when the last passenger train left Bayon's 8th Street Station on August 6, 1978. Demolition of the central lift spans began in July 1980 after the United States Coast Guard declared the structure a navigational hazard to ships, as seen here.
As seen here.
On May 19th, 1966.
Oh, May 19th, you better call Kane.
SS Washington collided.
Oh, no, don't call Kane. Don't call Kane.
Rendering 2 tracks unusable. Despite an eventual Second Circuit judgment in CNJ's favor, the span was never repaired, as the 2 affected tracks were deemed redundant by the railroad due to the sharp decline in rail traffic and the momentous change of the railroad's operation, which occurred less than a year after the accident.
Allegedly.
The trestle and approaches were removed from 1987 to 1988, when it became apparent that the replacement span was no longer feasible. Removal of the piers began in 2012, and now the bridge is nothing more than a distant memory. It's been 61 years since this.
Makes a nice looking monument, though. I'll give it that.
The true cause of the accident, why the train ran past the red signals, remains unsolved. Who knows what really happened?
Find out on the next Dragon Ball Z. That's what he should have said. Okay, that was a little Trump. Anyway, hope you guys liked this reaction. I don't even remember what happened. I really don't. But thank you anyway. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe for more on my channel. Recommend me to some more videos you would like for me to react to. Ring that bell for notifications on upcoming videos. Thought I saw something in the distance. And until next time, I've said love, and I'll see you guys soon. Ooh, my voices.